Hello everybody, we are going to be reacting to all 48 brawlers ranked from worst to best tier list. This is for Brawl Stars, the Supercell game.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, we're going to be ranking every single brawler in Brawl Stars, all 48 of them, from worst to best. Of course, before we get into it, do make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, so you can help us hit 200k. And please, make sure you're using a credit code in the shop. If you do want to support me, you can use code TOM, would be very much appreciated. Of course, before we get into it, make sure you're liking the video. Let me know what you think the best brawler is down below before we get into it. Let's jump right into it. Okay, at number 48, starting off the list, the worst brawler in the game, for me, it has to be Squeak. Squeak, I wouldn't want anyone to play Squeak. Squeak is so bad right now. The shots are so easy to hit, and I feel like when you do hit them, most of the time they take so long to kind of blow up and deal the damage that most of the time you're already dead anyway. So Squeak is just awful right now, especially because the meta is really tank based. Squeak is awful against any kind of aggression, so Squeak right now is just awful. Okay, at number 47, we have Leon. For me, Leon really struggles in 3v3. I felt like you can play Leon on Shooting Star, but that's about the only 3v3 map where I would say he's like maybe top 10 brawlers, honestly. Leon is just not that good right now, only really okay in Showdown, and especially in Showdown now you see so much teaming that like Leon's not even good in Showdown anymore. Like maybe below 500, 600 trophies, but as soon as you get above 700 trophies, you get teaming, people group together, the same they do in 3v3, Leon becomes awful, so Leon just needs some buffs right now. Okay, at number 46, we have Dynamite. Now, Dynamite is actually, like Dynamite can be so good, right? If you can hit every shot, if you can be consistent, good with Dynamite on maps like Summer Assembly Required. Dynamite can be absolutely amazing, especially on heist maps as well. Definitely do not think Dynamite is too bad. I just felt like you can get countered extremely easily by like BB, Primo, anything aggressive like Poke or Double Tank. You're going to really struggle. Also, it's only a few maps where you can play Dynamite. Apart from that, it's really tough. If you know how to dodge Dynamite as well, most of the time you can dodge Dynamite. So yeah, Dynamite is okay. If you can hit your shots, Dynamite's a pretty solid brawler, but apart from that, it's very high skill cap and very weak against tanks. Okay, then at number 45, we have Edgar. Now, Edgar is one of those brawlers, like, if you leave an Edgar on a safe in Heist, Edgar can melt the safe, like, really, really high damage. The new gadget as well, I don't know. I feel like the other gadget was so good. You can get your super right, the most important thing about Edgar, but I do feel like the other gadget maybe gives him some use in some other modes. But I don't feel like it's made him so much better. It's definitely made him a little bit better. Obviously, you counter throwers. Apart from that, you're okay against like long-range brawlers like Piper. Obviously, you're going to be weak against tanks. And there's a lot of tanks around right now. So I feel like Edgar is okay, but just doesn't really shine anywhere. Okay, at number 44, we have Bo. Now, the reason Bo is a lot higher than maybe other brawlers is because Bo has one map, Snake Prairie, where he is still pretty much the best brawler, and like, yeah, so at least Bo has one map where he's good, right? And I mean, like it's not too bad. You can play him with Double Swoosh with like a Tara, you can play him on Bounty if you want to play for Cheese, or on Knockout, you're going to use that Nanny Super, or just to get Super. But apart from that, Bo is pretty weak against tanks, but honestly, you know, if you combine Bo with the right brawlers, he can definitely be pretty solid. But right now, as I said, like, he's only really good in Snake Prairie. You can play him on some other maps like Backyard, Double Swoosh, but he's not going to be too good on them. He's just going to be like maybe B tier. Apart from that, he is pretty bad. Okay, at number 43 then, we have Mr. P. So the thing with Mr. P is if you face any tanks, you have literally like 0 damage. You're going to get completely bullied. But then if you do play some of those tank counters like the Bees, like the Colette, you can start to like do okay. But I just feel like tanks are way too good right now. You can just whoop through Mr. P. And on open maps, it's way too easy to dodge Mr. P. Like, it's so hard to hit your shots with Mr. P, so he's only really good on like the medium range maps, and those seem to be maps where you seem to see a lot of poke of a tank. And yeah, Mr. P just very difficult to hit your shots on long range maps, and just isn't really good into those short range maps either, because you see so many tanks and throwers on them. But yeah, that's why Mr. P is not too good right now. Okay, at number 42 we have Shelly. So people obviously, you know, tanks are very good right now. Primo is one of the best brawlers in the game. And you're going to tell me Shelly is not at least decent, okay? Shelly gets memed a lot, but like, you can seriously say I would much rather take a Shelly into games than like Mr. P, than a Squeak. Like, if you have the choice between Squeak or Shelly, I would go Shelly every time right now. Not only because you're going to counter a lot of tanks, which are very good, but like, let's just say you have medium range, like a medium range. You have good damage. You have a good super, a decent gadget, and an okay star power.
G.
Rest. Take a rest.
नहीं.
No, you need to take a rest. Take a rest. Take a rest, Nannu. वो जिसे बोलते हैं नन्नू, वो एक वो है स्लैंग. वन वन कदम को इंग्लिश में बोलते हैं 1 feet बैक साइड एंड देन यू गो बिग जंप.
हाँ.
क्या बोलेंगे इंग्लिश में? गो बैक, वन स्टेप बैक.
Step back and lunge forward.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so you have to take a break and then go. Right?
ठीक है. इसके बाद.
So yeah, I feel like, you know, if I'm Shelly against Mr. P, I feel like I have a good matchup. Against the Squeak, I feel like I'm going to do well. And against any tank, I'm going to destroy them. So even just the chance that you're going to have like a really great matchup is worth it for playing Shelly, especially on Power League as well, because you know what they're going. A lot of the time, obviously, you know what they're going, so you could just go straight Shelly counter pick, and you're gonna have fun with that. So yeah, right now, I don't think Shelly is bottom 5 just because tanks are so good. Like you have really good HP, really good damage, and decent range with Shelly. So that's why Shelly is maybe higher than you'd expect. Okay, at number 41, we have Gale. Gale, I don't know, like, Gale's been in the game for, I'm pretty sure, like, over a year now. And I just don't know what the point of him is. And it's like, when he was good, you could use him for that launch pad. And I feel like bring back his launch pad. Make the launch pads good again. Come on. Because right now, he's not... He's meant to, like, his object as a brawler is he's better counter tanks, but there is like so many better tank counters. So Gale right now, like, he doesn't counter tanks. He's not good against any other brawlers really. Like, you could say maybe he's good against Pam, maybe he's okay against 8-bit, obviously okay against tanks, but that's just better brawlers to counter with. Gale doesn't really have a purpose right now in my opinion. Apart from on split, where you can actually get value from that launch pad. Honestly, the only way they can buff him, I feel, to actually make a good difference is to bring that launch bag at least back to some of the range that it used to be. And I think this can help. But right now, you only see a little bit of Gale on split. And apart from that, Gale is just trash. Okay, so at number 40, we have Nita. Now Nita, obviously one of the best, or used to be a really good tank counter, and now I feel like if you want a lane that counters tanks, you're gonna go for Tara, you're gonna go for Ems, you're gonna go for like, I don't know, a Spike. I just feel like, you know, there's probably 5 or more brawlers that if you're gonna pick a lane that are probably better than Nita. So that's why we don't see too much Nita right now. Even though Nita's a solid option, I just feel like there's better options. And yeah, Nita, in my opinion, not too good right now. Okay, at number 39, we have 8-bit, a little bit underrated in my opinion. 8-bit is solid, especially on maps like Backyard, Minecart, and Hard Rock Mine. Those kind of mid to long range maps. I definitely feel like you can still do okay with 8-bit. So in my opinion, right now, 8-bit is not...
Just making sure.
Too bad. Okay, so at number 38, we have Brock. Now for me, Brock is not like, you have 2 game modes, right? You have Bounty, where I'd say Brock is A tier, and then Heist, where Brock is probably A tier again. So 2 solid game modes, but not like anywhere insane. I still feel like Brock cannot deal with aggressive brawlers. So if you're facing like a polka dot tank, you're really going to struggle in Bounty or Heist. And then if you're facing like throwers as well, you're also going to struggle with Brock. Although you can open the map, but still you have low HP. You need a 3-shot by a Sprout. And yeah, Thrower is going to counter you. So I still feel like Brock is good right now, but I still feel like it's the same problems where it's like it's hard to hit your shots compared to something like a Gene. And right now, I still feel like there's better options, especially with a lot of throwers being good and a lot of tanks being good. Brock can't really deal with either of them. Okay, so at number 37, then we have Nani. So you're only really going to see Nani on like Kaboom Canyon, Safe Zone, I feel like, and then obviously some bounty maps like Shooting Star. So those are kind of 3 maps we're going to see a lot of Nani. Definitely ST on Shooting Star, probably the best brawler on that map.
Wait, is Nani the bear one?
Ice maps, as I mentioned, but apart from that, you're not going to see too much Nani. Piper is just going to be better most of the time, like pretty much all the time in Gem Grab, Brawl Ball. And
I forgot a lot
sometimes
of the
with heist
characters'
as
names.
well,
I haven't
just
played in a
because it's
while,
easy to hit your shots.
but I
want to
get back into it. That's why I'm watching this.
Easier. And yeah, I feel like Nani as well just doesn't deal with tanks too well, so you're definitely going to struggle against pressure. So that's why Nani is this low down. Okay, at number 36, the gameplay here is going to be in Basketball. We did not take Basketball into consideration because it was only a temporary mode. But yeah, Mortis was definitely pretty good in Basketball. Anyway, Mortis is kind of quite low down, I'd say, because in this tank meta, obviously, he's really going to struggle against like Primos, like Bulls, and the fact that there's a lot of tank counters like Tara, like Ems, like B, like Colette, that like, I don't know, Mortis is really going to struggle against him, to be honest. So yeah, he doesn't have too many good matchups. Obviously, he's still good against throwers right now, but I'd say Tick is one of the best throwers. And, you know, Tick, you have those gadgets. You also have the super as well to kind of counter Mortis. Mortis right now is only good when you kind of know you're playing a Sprout, I would say. And that's when I would pick Mortis in Power League, when you know you're against a Sprout and maybe like a Piper or something, 2 brawlers you can really counter. Apart from that, you're not going to see too much Mortis because Mortis just isn't very good right now. Okay, at number 35, we have Daryl. Obviously, tanks are very good right now. I feel like Daryl's standout modes are going to be Heist, and Ruble, but even there you don't see too much Daryl. I just feel like he's still a solid tank. There are tanks better, but if you're going like Primo, Poco, Daryl, that comp's still going to be very good, and Daryl's going to be able to do very, very well in it. So even though you don't see too much Daryl, I definitely feel like you would see more. There's just better tanks to use. So Daryl is definitely not bad. There's just better options if you're going to go a tank. But obviously, if those tanks are banned, that's when you're going to start seeing Daryl and these other tanks. So yeah, that's why Daryl is kind of in this mid-range zone. Okay, at number 34, we have Pam. I feel like Pam is one of those brawlers right now that's pretty underrated. Like against tanks, Pam doesn't counter tanks, right? But Pam has pretty high damage, so Pam's not going to be bad against tanks. Also going to be solid against most other brawlers as well.
Or she's the healer one. She's
but
pretty
Pam
good.
definitely struggles right now because there's a lot of Colette, there's a lot of Tara, a lot of Ems, which are all tank counters. Obviously, Pam is kind of a tank. She doesn't have the small range, but she does have the high HP, which means a lot of those brawlers that are made to kind of, or played a lot in this meta to counter those tanks, are going to counter Pam. So Pam does struggle, but definitely still usable in like Poco Pam comps, and just a really solid brawler with high damage, good healing, and high HP. So Pam is pretty solid right now. Okay, at number 33, we have BB. Now, BB is really good in Siege, solid in Brawl Ball, and pretty solid in Heist. I would say probably an S to A tier brawler in Siege, and then we probably have like a B to A tier in Heist, and then maybe like a B tier in Brawl Ball. Not too good in Brawl Ball. The thing with BB is very good, but when like Primo, if you ever played a Primo versus a BB, or you've been the BB in that matchup, you can't win it, right? Especially if Primo has that yeet gadget where he can yeet you over his shoulder. Like that matchup is impossible to win as the BB. So yeah, the main thing is that Primo is so good right now, and you just get hard countered by Primo. So I think that's why I've gone for BB being a bit lower than maybe you would expect. It's just because, you know, if Primo is banned, BB's going to be very solid. Probably BB would climb up the ranks if Primo wasn't here. But yeah, the fact that you see so much Primo and also tank counters means that BB is going to struggle, but still really solid in Siege, pretty good in Heist, and okay on Brawl Ball as well. Okay, then at number 32, we have Spike. Obviously, Spike has been one of the OG tank counters with high damage, low HP, but now, I don't know, I feel like when we see so many throwers being good, that's when we see like less Spike being used, because instead of like going with a low HP Spike where you could be countered with throwers, people would rather go like a Tara, go with an Ems, something that just has more HP so that you're not going to get destroyed by a thrower. So I think that's what we see, is just people swapping to these other tank counters because they are slightly better against throwers, and also they're probably right now just better at countering tanks because, you know, Spike isn't too good right now. That gadget will definitely help out, but I don't feel like there's too much Spike right now just because throwers do hard counter him. And there are just better tank counters in the meta right now. Okay, so at number 31, you have one of my favorite brawlers, the most annoying brawler in the game, aka Tick. So yeah, Tick got a nerf with that gadget in the recent change, where essentially it doesn't tank all damage, it only tanks 50% of damage. That's obviously really hurt Tick now, because most of the time, I don't know, you could use it to tank like a Piper shot, to tank a 3k shot from B, or just tank like a lot more damage. And now, I don't know, I feel like you struggle to get much value from it. And obviously, there's a lot of tanks in the meta right now. So that's why Tick is kind of this low, even though it's probably one of the best brawlers to deal with like aggression, because you do have that Tick super, you also have the gadget as well. But as I said, it did get nerfed. But yeah, Tick's definitely solid in bounty. Apart from that though, on like selected maps, you're gonna see Tick like on split, like on triple dribble, a few like random modes just when Tick is good, where there's like really good choke points. But apart from that, you're only really gonna see Tick consistently on bounty in maps like shooting star. But yeah, apart from that, I'd say Tick's pretty solid, honestly. Nothing too bad, just a lot of aggro in this meta, a lot of poke over tank, and Tick is obviously struggling to deal with the aggression. So yeah, that's why Tick is maybe lower than you'd expect. Okay, so getting into the top 30 brawlers right now. So starting off at number 30 with Piper. So Piper for me is just one of those brawlers that's like, Piper's always going to be good, right? You pretty much have, I think, the longest or like second longest range in the game. And it's just going to be so solid on those like open range maps like Safe Zone, like Kaboom Canyon, like Backyard, like Hard Rock Mine, anything with like long range as like a mid that you need in either like Brawl Ball, Gem Grab, Heist, even in Siege on maps like Factory Rush and the other open map. Actually, it's called Bot Drop. That's the other map. But yeah, any open map is going to be really effective. And then against tanks as well, you're not going to be the best, but if you have Snappy, it's going to make you better. Obviously, you do have that super as well to get away from them, and you can swap to the other gadget, that knockback one, if you do want to get a little bit more protection against tanks. But apart from that, you know, Piper is really solid. Still does struggle against tanks though. Like if you face poke up a tank as a Pipe on Backyard, you're probably not going to win. So yeah, that's maybe why Piper's lower than you would expect. Okay, so at number 29 then, we have Jackie. Now Jackie is one of those brawlers where obviously you're going to want to play poke up a tank with her, and she's going to be really good at that. High HP, high damage, but I definitely feel like some tanks are definitely better. Jackie's one of those ones where it's a little bit easier to counter, because you don't have any kind of like Bull, you have that super obviously, and Frank, you have more HP. Buzz, you have that super again to get close to people. With Jackie, that super is so useless that it doesn't really help you achieve anything. So that's why Jackie is on the lower end of this list, but Jackie definitely still very, very strong in Poco double tank comps. Okay, so coming in at number 28, we have Colt. So I feel like this is the best I've seen Colt and the most I've seen Colt in terms of competitive in a long time. I think it's like 6 months since we had that broken gadget enter the game, and it got nerfed. And back then Colt was like top 3, and we haven't seen Colt as good like as he is now since like 6 months ago, as I was saying with that gadget. But yeah, I definitely feel like Colt is really solid right now, especially with there being so many tanks. There's a lot of like break comps with, say, like B and other brawlers like Surge and stuff like that, which can be pretty effective. We see Colt, especially in competitive, a lot. Probably A or S tier great Colt in terms of Siege. Probably A tier, very good on Factory Rush and like, I don't know, some assembly, nuts and bolts. When using like a breakup comp, we'd say like Ruffs and B can be very effective. Also on Split as well. And pretty solid on some Brawl Ball and Gem Grab maps. So I definitely feel like Colt, one of those more solid brawlers right now. And I even forgot about Heist, where that's probably Colt's best mode. You know, we see a ton of Colt, not only on Kaboom, but maps like Safe Zone, and yeah, we just see a lot of Colt right now because that really high damage can definitely deal those tanks pretty well. So in like comps around Colt with like a B and a Ruffs or a Surge, something like that could definitely be really good right now. Okay, so at number 27 we have Amber. Now to be honest, I had Amber even lower, maybe like 10 spaces lower, and I just thought to myself, like, Amber's not this bad, right? We haven't seen too much Amber in competitive, but Amber's definitely still one of the solid brawlers, can deal with a lot of lanes like the Sandys, like the M's, like the Tars, which a lot of people like to use right now to counter tanks. See, in regards to countering tanks, like Amber is very good, but the thing is when you run out of ammo, which is very quickly now because of the way they changed it, and it's a lot like harder to get your ammo back. And I feel like if you just had 2 tanks and a Poco healing them, you don't really have enough damage to kind of stop them. They're just going to run straight through you, so you can definitely struggle to take them down with Amber. But over time, as they kind of burn their gadgets, like the Poco gadgets and say like BB gadgets or something like that, it definitely becomes easy to kill them. But yeah, I feel like Amber just doesn't have enough damage, but it's definitely still solid against those kind of mid-range brawlers and good against the long-range brawlers as well. So Amber, definitely pretty solid. Maybe I've underranked Amber if anything. But yeah, I definitely feel like Amber is pretty okay right now. Okay, so at number 26, we have Barley. So Barley really does well in both Siege and Heist because unlike other throwers like Tick and Sprout, you have really good damage against the Safe and the Ike. So if you're using that damage star power, you're doing about, I think it's like 2.3k per shot. So yeah, it's really good damage, of course, if you have the damage star power. But yeah, really good in Heist and Siege. Also with that slow star power, you can kind of counter those more aggressive comps and does help you counter them a bit. Yeah, definitely like
video.
S tier on Siege. Probably, I don't know, A or S tier on Heist. And then solid on Brawl maps like Super Stadium, Triple Dribble. Gem Grab, you don't really tend to see too much Barley. You can see Barley on Hot Zone as well. But yeah, Barley definitely pretty solid right now. Put him above Tick because I feel like Tick is only really good on Bounty and a couple other maps. Whereas Barley is good in, like, really good in 2 modes and also good in other maps as well. And can deal with aggro probably better than Tick. With that slow gadget and also the damage. So yeah, that's why Barley is this high. Okay, at number 25 then, we have Sprout. So Sprout, like Sprout's really close to